But Michael's grave is now visited every Father's Day by dozens of former students who remembered his kindness, his quiet strength, and his patient, gentle way of teaching. The plaque beneath his name reads, "He trusted her with his life. She repaid him with silence." Eric and Melissa Langston seemed like the couple everyone admired. Together since college, married 10 years, they had 2 children, a golden retriever, and a 4-bedroom home in suburban North Carolina. Eric worked as a structural engineer, Melissa was a local real estate agent. To neighbors, they were the image of stability. But behind the white picket fence, secrets festered. By the fall of 2018, one of them would be dead, and the other would be at the center of a national media frenzy. Eric Langston was quiet but kind. He volunteered with Habitat for Humanity, coached his son's Little League team, and was known for his reliability. Melissa was vibrant, social, and obsessed with appearances. Her Instagram was filled with manicured photos, smiling kids, gourmet dinners, designer outfits, inspirational quotes. Yet privately, Melissa complained that Eric was boring, too routine, and emotionally flat. She missed passion, and she found it elsewhere. In January 2018, Melissa began an affair with Brandon Cates, a 34-year-old personal trainer she met at her gym. Brandon was everything Eric wasn't: impulsive, adventurous, and emotionally intense. What started as flirtation escalated quickly into a full-blown secret relationship. They met in hotels, at open houses, even in Melissa's SUV parked behind a strip mall. Soon, they were exchanging hundreds of texts a day. Melissa started detaching from her marriage. She criticized Eric constantly, picked fights over nothing, and started taking weekend trips alone, always blaming real estate showings or conferences. Eric, blindsided, tried to fix things. But by spring, Melissa had already decided she wanted out. Not through divorce, but through something darker. Brandon Cates wasn't just a fling. He had a criminal history, assault, fraud, and a history of manipulating partners. He told Melissa she deserved freedom and that Eric was the only thing in their way. "You'll never be free until he's gone," Brandon allegedly texted. Melissa hesitated, she had 2 children, after all. But that changed when she discovered a hidden detail: Eric had recently increased his life insurance to $750,000. A plan began to form. On August 3, 2018, Eric Langston told Melissa he was heading out for an early morning hike at Crooked Ridge Trail, a route he'd taken many times before. He kissed their kids goodbye, left around 5:15 a.m., and never returned. Melissa reported him missing later that evening. "He probably got lost or hurt," she told police. "I just want him home." The community rallied: search dogs, helicopters, hundreds of volunteers. But the trail yielded nothing. No sign of struggle. No footprints off path. No phone. No body. Melissa's tears looked real, but investigators weren't convinced. She seemed cold when talking about Eric. Too rehearsed. Too controlled. And then there was Brandon. Cell phone data showed that Brandon had driven near Crooked Ridge at 4:45 a.m., 30 minutes before Eric left for his hike. Brandon claimed he was just driving, but couldn't explain why he was near the trail. Police dug deeper. Investigators began covertly monitoring Melissa and Brandon's phones. What they uncovered was damning. Melissa, the hardest part is pretending. Brandon, don't worry. Once they call off the search, it'll all be behind us. Melissa, every day I look at our kids and think, I did this for them. In mid-September, Melissa and Brandon met at a motel. Hidden cameras caught them laughing, drinking, and discussing what to do with the money. Police had enough. But they didn't move yet. They needed Eric's body. On October 4, 2018, a hiker 12 miles from Crooked Ridge noticed something unusual: disturbed soil, a broken branch, and the faint smell of decay. Inside a shallow grave, wrapped in a tarp and covered with lime, was the decomposed body of Eric Langston. An autopsy revealed he'd been hit in the back of the head and then strangled with a zip tie. Inside the tarp, a gym towel marked Cates Performance, Brandon's fitness brand. Police arrested Melissa Langston and Brandon Cates the same night. During questioning, Melissa cracked. She confessed in full. "I wanted a new life. Brandon said we'd be happy. I didn't think it would hurt this much." She described how Brandon ambushed Eric on the trailhead, struck him from behind, and drove his body to the remote burial site. Melissa helped buy supplies, gloves, tarp, lime. All traceable to her Amazon account. Her confession was recorded. Brandon's response? Total denial. But the evidence was airtight. The trial of State versus Langston and Cates began in March 2020. It gripped the nation. The prosecution showed hundreds of texts plotting the murder, GPS and surveillance tying both to the scene, financial records showing Melissa stood to gain $750,000, the fake alibi attempts and manipulation of their kids. Melissa's defense tried to paint Brandon as the mastermind. Brandon's team blamed Melissa entirely. But the jury didn't care. After 4 weeks, both were found guilty of first-degree murder and conspiracy. Sentencing. Melissa Langston, life without parole. Brandon Cates, life plus 25 years for premeditation. Eric's children were placed under the guardianship of his sister. The home was sold. Melissa's social media was taken down. In a tearful statement at sentencing, Eric's 10-year-old daughter said, "My mom lied. She broke our family. My dad just wanted to love her." The judge called it one of the most premeditated, cold-blooded acts he'd ever seen. Today, Eric Langston's name is remembered in his community. His students raised money to install a memorial bench near Crooked Ridge, the trail where he took his final walk. Melissa's betrayal became a cautionary tale across true crime circles, not just about cheating, but about how ordinary people can make extraordinary choices, for all the wrong reasons. "Justice may not bring Eric back," said the district attorney, "but it ensures those who took him won't walk free again."